So what I've used for this particular idea, this was my first one. Obviously you can see some errors on it, but I love it. You see right here, I didn't like this at first, and I went with different color, and then decided, no, I like the original color, but I wanted to leave this just as a reminder that this was my first one. And also, you know, there's an error right here, which maybe you didn't notice, but I do. But that's all because maybe I can use one less bead and also pull the string, this wire string, even tighter. But I didn't cut enough of this, so I didn't have enough wire to pull, so it kind of was messing me up, but I still love it. And this was my second one. Still some errors, you can see some loose areas here, but I still, again, adore it. I think it's neat. And this is my third one, and this came out a lot better, so I got better as I was doing it. And this is more Christmassy, but you know, it's not that time of season, but it still came out really nice. And then this was my fourth one, which I just finished today, and I adore this one. One for the colors, of course, represents me, and two, because I did it nice and neat and made sure that I restarted it if it was too much or less beads. I add more beads and made sure it just lined up nice and curved right where I needed to go. So now I'm going to basically show you guys how I achieved that with this, and how I basically managed to do it better each time is making sure that this wire string is long enough. So this I've cut right now is about 70 inches long. I would do it, you know, 70, 75 inches long. You'll have some left over, but it's good. At least you have room to pull it. And so, if I can recall where I placed it, I would like to show you guys how it looks. So this is a different kind of wire that I've used to make these kind of bracelets, which are very loose. It's not stiff. So this is very thin, and it's hard to pick up the beads with it. So that's why I use a needle for this one, a wire needle. But for this, it's so neat because you use this wire itself to help you pick up the beads. And basically this is it right here, and this is what I'm using. It's not really wire string, but it's stiff enough that they call it a wire string. But it's plastic, it's made of plastic, because the wire one is stiffer than this, and this one works awesome. So I'm sure there's many other brands, but this is the one in my local area that I purchase them from. There's not too many where I live, so this is it. And I know I can go online and order a bigger version of it, but right now, for a small timer like me, this works. And so, okay, let's get started. So what I like to do is I bring the wire string from the middle and work my way. So I use a needle like this, or this is up to you. There's many weaving tools that people use. This is what I like to use. So this is a very large needle. And then they have a plastic one also. And you can get this, of course, in any Joann's, Michael's, any arts and crafts fabric store you may buy it. Even Walmart or Target, I'm sure they carry it too, but that's not where I got mine from. So I put it here, I put the wire through here, and basically I start weaving from the middle. I work my way, you know, zigzagging it all the way down, and then all the way up or down, however you want to consider it, being that this is the bottom part. So, and I bring it to this part, so later on when I'm done here and it loops itself back, I like to burn this end on top of the wire so it's nice and stiff and it won't go anywhere. So basically, once I bring it all the way to the top, I string it through this hole here, as you can see right here, and then I start picking up my beads with the end. and be careful because it's long, it can get very tangled. So this is not something you want to do in a rush. This is something you want to take your time in doing it. And once I'm done, I'm just going to show you the basics, and once I'm done, it will be posted on my page. Again, that's NUSUN Designs, New Sun Designs. And so let's get started. So I pick up the beads with this, and I decided to do black and white, and hopefully it comes out really good. Comes out looking nice, and so you can't go wrong with black and white. So I love the idea of just staying basic color sometimes. You don't have to be bright all the time, even though I love bright colors now. I used to always be black and white growing up, so it's a change to get into different colors. So here we go. Basically, so I put the beads through the wire and work this way down. So once I do that, I make sure I push it all the way down, which is, I'm talking about the beads. I push it all the way down and I measure. So I measure to see if it'll go. So if you can see where my nail is right here, that I can use probably one more bead to go in that spot, so it can be nice and snug in that corner. And so I shall do that. So I'm going to add one more bead to that, and let's see how that works. So once I do that, I go and put it through here, which is awesome because this is so stiff and thin that you don't need a needle. So it can take a lot longer with a needle because you're going to have to keep taking it out every time you have to pick up the bead. But since this works fine, you don't need a needle. So now I guide it to the corner, and then I make sure I pull this nice and tight. And I like actually these bumps here, I like some of it to stick out a little bit because that gives it something to hold on to. So now here we go. I could still use one more bead in that corner. So because I'm a perfectionist sometimes, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to add one more bead in that corner. So, alright. So let's do that right now. And basically I'll show you a couple and then pause and come back when I do the white. So basically I'm going to take all the black parts and do those first. I'm going to take all the black seed beads, and by the way, those are seed beads if I haven't mentioned it. And I don't know if the beads get any smaller, but if they do, wow, good luck trying to work with those smaller beads, because to me this is as small as I'm gonna mess with right now on these designs, because they are very hard to play with. They're not as big as most beads. For example, I love these bigger beads for bigger designs, which I do different bracelets with. This is a size 6 bead, and again I buy them from my local craft store. Well, I think this might be a size 7 bead. One of the two, 6 or 7, but these I do a lot of these kind of either bracelets or different things, different types of crafting, and it works great. But sometimes I want something tiny like these, and these are another seed bead bracelets. So here we go. So now that I've added that one, you see how it's perfectly snug. It's sitting there, and then obviously you guide it. So again, these bumps here, I like to stick them out just a little. I mean, when you weave them, you can pull it tight, but that won't give you a very nice result like this. making them bumpy a little bit gives you some space to snug the beads in. When you're weaving, it's easier to not worry so much about it. But with the beads, you kind of need to give yourself something to hold on to. So again, so now let's go back to this. So now I'll take the end of the wire and then I come around this way on the bottom part, bring it up, pull it, and you see how that got loose, but then now you're going to make it tight. Pull it by pulling it. So then again, you go back. So you're going to finish first with all your black seed beads. And the reason being is you want to stay uniform. You can go back and forth to black and white, and finish that whole area first. But the reason why I don't like doing that is because, hold on one second. The reason is because I did that with this, and that's reasons why you have some imperfections here. So what I did is purple, and then I went back and got the blue. And I don't really like it because if you turn it around, you see all these wires going back and forth. I'd rather not have that type of effect. I'd rather have, even though nobody will see it, I just wouldn't want it. I don't want it. So here, as you can see, the wire is going just in the corners here, which is a lot less visible or a lot less messy looking than having to go zigzag back and forth. So that's the purpose of going with all the black beads. So it'll be black here, it'll all stay on top. So you go back, so one section will be done with all the black, and then you come loop around here, and then you'll go with the white, so all white all the way down. And then once I get here, I weave it all the way back down and on the inside and come back up and end it somewhere here, because what I'll do is burn these, cut these off and burn them once I've tightened them nice and tight. So here I go. And it's pretty easy. It's just a matter of being patient and making sure it's snug.